Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may He protect us both. May we both enjoy together. May we both exert together. May our studies become brilliant. May we not become disputatious and hate each other. Oh, peace, peace, peace. Hari Om everybody, and welcome to a new textbook. The textbooks, all, whether it is Tattva-Bodhah, whether it is the text what we are doing, Tattva-Bodhah, whether it is Adi Shankaracharya's Viveka-Chudamani, or the Bhagavad Gita itself, or the Upanishads, all of them hint at that one destination which all human beings should aspire for, and that is to gain the state of self-realization. Shankara, it is said, we have no verified data, but it is said that he wrote more than 700 books. A great karma yogi, a great bhakti, a great jnana yogi, and within the first 8 years of his life, he left at the age of 8 his own mother. Father was dead long time back, and he moved on. He met a guru, Govindapada, in the banks of the river Narmada. There he started studying. At the age of 8, an admission in a spiritual ashram is very, very difficult. But the teacher saw the capacity in this boy and undertook him as a student. And from 8 to 16, he started studying. From the age of 16, so all in the multiples of 8, from the age of 16 to 24, he wrote commentaries, which is very commonly known as bhashyas, on the textbooks. Okay, so there is the Bhagavad Gita, there are the shlokas, then he wrote translation and the commentaries on that, of what he understood, Shankara understood, of the Bhagavad Gita, of the various texts. And from 24 to 32, he went all around India. At that time, India was pretty big peninsula, around 7 to 8 times, that's what they say, spreading this knowledge of Vedanta Shastra. Vedanta subject as it is not of Hinduism. It is much, much more than that. It encompasses everybody who want to live a better life. So the book which we are dealing with now, we just finished Bhajagovindam, where Shankara is walking on the sands of Banaras, if you remember the first introductory talk of Bhajagovindam, and he sees an old Pandit sitting somewhere with a few students and teaching them Sanskrit grammar. Dukrin karne, dukrin karne. And when he is teaching them, Shankara from afar is looking at him teaching, and he's got his students behind. And the first verse of that text was Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate. Oh mad person, a person with a mad mind. Everybody's mind is that. Huh? A person like that, please pray to Govinda. Don't spend your time in analyzing and reanalyzing which has already been done. No need to start reinventing the wheel when it is already invented. So get the basics right. You can make it better, no doubt, if you can. But don't get into the intrigue, because the work has been done by these great masters. So when we are teaching, or when we are talking about this text now, Tattva-Bodhah, the focus is not on chanting. The focus is not. Bhagavad Gita is there for chanting. It goes on a particular meter, therefore we do it. Tattva-Bodhah doesn't have that chanting meter. Maybe 1-2 verses, the rest is just talking. So, more often than not, we may not even say the Sanskrit, we'll directly go into the English translation. Because at the end of the day, it is to understand the text, become one with it, and make oneself grow to that supreme reality state. That's the target. The target is not hair-splitting dictations or debates about which word goes where, what does this mean. We don't need to get into that. Like somebody asked a great saint, Swami Ramatirtha, and they asked and said that, sir, you know, there are the 3 states of consciousness, and in these 3 states, waking, dream, and deep sleep state. So we know that when I am a waker, I am going through the waking world. When I become a dreamer, I go through the dream state. But then, you know, sometimes when I'm awake, I just keep on staring at things. Nothing goes on in the mind. It looks like I am dreaming, what we call daydreaming. So is that daydreaming also a state of the dream or the waking state? This is where the jugglery starts, the intellectual jugglery. This great master, he said, why do you want to complicate things? Can't you understand that all the problems arise because I have expectations from the world? I have got a desire to do something. When I have X amount of desires in the world to fulfill, all my stress and agitation and tension arises from the non-fulfillment of certain desires. So if you know the desires are the cause of the problem, treat those desires. That's all. Why do you want to get into debates which has nothing to do with your evolution? Majority of people who have risen to a life of great importance have focused all their energy into simpler concepts. It is said famously of Sherlock Holmes. In fact, Dr. Watson, his assistant, would say it. He said that Sherlock Holmes did not know one important detail. And that one important detail was that Earth revolves around the sun. Sherlock Holmes did not know. So everybody used to laugh, you know. And Dr. Watson came to Sherlock Holmes and says, really, like, you know, I thought it's fun, but really, you don't know that the Earth revolves around the sun? He says, no, I don't. I said, but this is general knowledge. Everybody knows it. Sherlock Holmes says, what good is it for me to know that the Earth revolves around the sun or sun revolves around the Earth? I have my field of activity and I need to do it to the best of my ability. So the focus has always been only on that. Hanuman walking on the side of the beach, and when he is walking on the side of the beach, he is looking here and there and he's seeing beautiful shells. He's seeing beautiful shells everywhere. And when he's seeing the shells everywhere, he's picking certain, putting it in the air and throwing it away. He's picking up the shell, throwing it away. That's all he's doing. And then some shells, he listens and he puts it in his pouch. Somebody asked him, what are you doing? Beautiful shells I have seen, and you are throwing it away. And the bad shell, literally, it doesn't look normal, it's just ordinary. You are keeping it in your pouch. He says, all these good shells or not, beautiful or not, I keep on listening whether it is giving the name of Rama. So I put the shell around my ear, and if it says Rama, 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 I take it. Whether it is good looking or ordinary, doesn't matter. So the focus of the text is only to find out who you are. Tattva-Bodhah. As soon as we say Tattva-Bodhah, understand it is not, spiritual studies is not objective in nature. Tattva, essence. What is the essence? Bodha, knowledge. Knowledge of Tattva. So when we say knowledge of Tattva, whenever we say Tattva, knowledge of, it indicates knowledge of what, sir? What is it knowledge of? Knowledge of physics, knowledge of chemistry, knowledge of mathematics, knowledge of history, knowledge of political science. What knowledge of? Knowledge of Tattva. The essence. It has nothing to do with the outside world. It has everything to do is how do I perceive this knowledge? How do I see this knowledge? What is it that makes me interpret the world? The world is as it is. We can't change it. You can't change it. Krishna came, went. Rama came, went. Buddha came, went. Jesus came, went. Muhammad came, went. So many masters have gone. Shankara himself has gone. So many people have come and gone. The world is still as it is. World does not change. But how I perceive the world, that changes. So the whole attitude of one's life has to be subjective, not objective. Knowledge of what? The essence, Tattva, the isness. What is? Kene shitam pratati preshya. In the Keno Upanishad, it says Shotrasya Shotram, ear of the ear, speech of the speech. So I am listening something, but it goes within. What is that essence? Tattva. When we don't understand that essence, we live a life of lies. Lies and hypocrisy. We should do this, we should not. Since thou shalts and thou shalt nots start coming. That's the problem. Once a great teacher was there sitting in the Himalayas. He had a lot of students, around 10 to 15 students studying under him for X amount of years. And very strict teacher. Basically, spiritual teachers are very, very strict because they are not bothered about individuality. They are not bothered about individual egos. They are not bothered about the relationships. All they are bothered about is whether something is right for you or not. If it is right for you, they will do it. If it is right, it is done. If it is wrong, they will leave it away. So this person is sitting, the teacher, and he said, so all of you have come here to study the highest philosophy known to mankind, a subjective experience of your own self. How can you study anything when you don't even know basic things? You don't know how to keep your clothes, you don't know how to keep your shoes, you don't even know how to talk to people, you don't know how to listen to people. When basics of human behavior and human culture you have no idea of, how are you going to attain that supreme state of realization? For example, and he removed a towel. The towel was washed by one of his students, a very close, good student, genuine student. And he said, "This is the way you wash the towel?" And he named that person, the student. "Is this the way you wash the? If you can't even wash a piece of cloth, what are you going to wash away your vasanas? Huh? You can't even do this. And it's stone. See, the whole towel is stone." So the student got up and said, "Excuse me, sir, but I washed the towel and I put it over the shrub. At that time, it was all right. It was not torn." So the teacher looked at the student and says, "Are you telling me I'm lying?" Said, No, I'm not saying that. But when I washed and kept it on the shrub, it was all right. I saw that there was nothing torn there. "Are you telling me I'm wrong?" No, I'm not telling anything. You are a lawyer. You know that, na? You are a liar. You are lying. And after that, every day, the teacher used to sit on his veranda near the cottage. Students were working here and there, walking here and there. Whenever that student used to pass, he used to look at the student and say, "A liar, a liar," loudly before everybody, "Liar, liar." And he would just put his head down and walk away. One day the student got angry. And he said that this is not done. First of all, I have not torn the towel. I have washed it diligently, nicely. But this person, this great teacher, so-called great teacher sitting in the Himalayas with a minimalistic attitude of life, he is attached to a towel, for God's sake. The towel being torn a little, he is calling me liar, liar, liar. I don't want to learn under this teacher. He looks too arrogant, too attached. And he was about to pack his bags and leave for good. One of his friends said, "Listen, whenever a teacher addresses you, it has entirely a different meaning. It is not what you can analyze from your limited viewpoint. It has to be something different. So next time, just try it out. You are anyway leaving, so you leave after a day. But one day you try it out." What? He said, when he is calling you liar, and he whispered something in his ear. He said, "Okay, I'll try that. What else?" Next day, the person was sitting. The student came. And as the student was walking away, "A liar, liar." The student bowed to him, came back, bowed to him. He said, "Yes, sir, I am a liar." He says, "There you have understood now. You are a liar. You have been living a life of lie. When all the granthas, all the shastras and everybody is roaring from the marketplace and roaring from the rooftops that you are the self, the supreme reality, you have been lying to yourself that you are just this confinement and embodiment of body, mind and intellect and this limited ego. You have been lying. You are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the intellect, you are not the ego, you are not the memory, you are not any of these limited aspects or equipments of life. You are that supreme self. So don't lie to yourself." And the student understood that all the way the teacher was talking was something so lofty which my limited ego cannot understand. That isness is Tattva-Bodhah. If we don't understand that essence, the supreme reality within myself, then I attribute my whole experience to the external world and the equipments of my physical body, my own mind and intellect interacting with the world. My whole life gets limited only to that. So from a limited point of view, from a limited personality, from an ant's view, from a rat's view, I have this small understanding of this is the world. The world does this to me, therefore I should do this to them. Sometimes the world takes advantage of me, I should take, and whole life is spent on ridiculous pursuits of acquiring more and more and more and more and trying to enjoy what one has acquired in their own lifetime. It's madness going on. And the problem, everybody is running behind something. See, if you make them to stop and say, "Why are you running?" they have no idea. Even the so-called teachers, so-called ashrams and the big gurus, they are also now only talking about relationships, about the world. सबसे प्यार करो, सबसे अच्छी तरह रहो, किसी के साथ नफरत न करो. Everything has become in relation with the world. Hardly anybody understands that the Mahabharata, written by the Vyasa, great Vyasa, was intended to focus on the inner demons, not outside. It was intended to show that at every given point of time, there are 100 Asuras, 100 Kshatriyas, 100 Kauravas inside me, the negative forces. And at every point of time, at the same, I have 5 good values, 5 proper Pandavas. And every time, the Kauravas will have a ratio of 1:20. 20 Kauravas to 1 Pandavas. Because there were 5 and these guys were 100. And the 5 will always lose. The majority wins. They will always win until Lord Krishna, the virtue of goodness, the virtue of right attitude, appears and sides with the Pandavas. So Lord Krishna is my own buddhi, saturated with the higher values of life, nothing to do with the lower anymore. When it gets associated with the higher values of my own intellect, then the 100 thoughts, negative thoughts of my mind gets controlled. And then I become a better person than what I was yesterday. It's a mad rush going on. Everybody seems to be running around for what? I have no idea. In fact, nobody has any idea. The problem with being mad is when I am mad, I will not know that I am mad. No mad person in the world knows that he is mad. They don't know. They will just enact and they say, this is natural, no? This is the way I am. So anybody who is in a mental asylum, all of them, you will see them completely normal. Sometimes they behave so normal that the normal people are affected. They don't know what it is. The mad people look more saner. There's this beautiful movie which we saw in an ashram long time back, putting the clock around 25 years back. Movie's name was Random Harvest. It's an old classic, but the message was so pertinent. In that movie, this person who was an army officer was fighting a war, and then something happened, an accident happened, and he landed in an asylum because he could not remember who he was. He doesn't remember his name, he doesn't remember his parents. So the first scene is, they say that your parents have come to meet you. They say, so are they my parents? He says, yes, they are your parents. If they identify you as their son, because they are looking everywhere else, and if they don't, then they'll go away. So he dresses up nicely and goes and sits on a chair, and 2 husband and wife come there, and they look at this boy, and the boy's face, please let it be my, you are my parents, I'm your son, so that I can leave this place. And both the husband and wife look at each other. The lady cries, goes away, and tells the warden that he is not my son. And the man's face falls. So he has no idea who he is, what he is. Somewhere down the line, he escapes the mental asylum. Not by running away, he just walks through the door. The guard is not there. And there he meets a lady. And this lady is a so-called dancer. She's a dancer basically, and earns her livelihood in a very righteous way. There she meets this person. War is over. Everybody's enjoying. And she meets this guy, Smith, I think so, his name is Smith. So he's Smithy, she calls him. And she says, why don't you have a drink? And he has a drink. But she knows that there is something wrong, and her heart goes to him. So he says, listen, you can stay for this dance routine, and you can stay with me for a day or 2. And she takes care of him because he doesn't remember anything. He can hardly talk. But as she's taking care of him, He starts muttering words. He starts talking something. Then the girl understands that if she leaves him here, then he will go back to his own mental state of turmoil. He will stop talking. So she takes him to another city. And in that city, she tries to rehabilitate him. In fact, she does rehabilitate him. He becomes a writer. And when he gets a writer and he gets his first check as a writer, he proposes to this girl that, will you get married to me? She says, yes, of course. And they get married. They have a beautiful child. And after having the child, this man has got an interview in another city. So he says, I'll just go for 2 days and I'll just go to the city and come back, do some work. And the lady is crying. She's saying that, oh my God, after such a long time you are going. He said, doesn't matter, just 2 days. I'll come back. And he goes there, and in the other city, he is crossing a road and he meets with an accident. And when he meets with an accident, he just sits there. He sits on a chair. He says, oh my God, head is paining. He says, sir, what happened? Are you all right? Well, of course, I'm all right. Just a little bit of bleeding. So, do you know who you are? Yes, my name is so and so. And he gives entirely a different name. Where do you stay? He gives entirely a different address. He forgets everything about this girl, about his own child. And he remembers the past. I am a very rich businessman. I used to stay here. And he goes to that house. He stays with those relatives. That kind of money, that kind of shame, a show, name, fame, everybody is there. People, society start respecting. And there he is living, and there he meets a girl, and the girl is in love with this man. His own wife, who was living in the other city, came searching here, and she is working as this man's secretary. So while taking the interview, the man says, oh, so you are staying in that city? Yes, yes. And you say your husband has just walked away from the house and he never came back. Yes, yes. And you say you had a child, na? And then he looks at the paper and says, you say, sorry, it's written, your child expired, right? Last year. His own child. And the lady says, yes, he had some tuberculosis and he died. And she starts crying. He said, okay, the job is yours. Just do a good job. She has a friend and she tells the friend, he is my husband. He is the father of my child, but he doesn't remember. Why can't I just tell him that I'm your wife? So the friend says, of course you can tell him I'm your wife. And the decent guy that he is, he will also accept it. He will accept it as a fact that yes, I am your husband, you are my wife, let us stay together. Out of sheer decency. But that kind of a life will be a compromise. He will never really truly love you because he'll never understand you. Does that kind of a relationship inspire you to live with him? Do you want that kind of relationship? She says no. When he left that house for an interview, he had the key of that house, a single piece of evidence, key. Every time, whenever he's in a meeting, whenever he's with that new girl and they are deciding to get married, he always has this key in his pocket. He just removes the key and looks at it and gets lost. Where is that? There's some packet of my life which I've forgotten. At the end, when they are about to get married, he is invited into a different city, the old city. And there he says, his friend says, do you know any cigarette shop? He's asking somebody else. So this man says, yeah, from the main street you go straight and turn right. There in a corner you'll find a tobacco shop. Let's go. And both of them go to that tobacco shop and get the cigarettes. So the friend is asking this man, have you ever been here? So no, this is my first time. Then how did you know the tobacco shop is right from the main road? Because from where we are traveling, we can't see the tobacco shop. How did you know? He says, I don't know. And then he starts backtracking. Where was I? Was slowly, from here to there, one step at a time. At the end, he reaches his house. A small picket fence. He opens the picket fence. He goes inside. He sees the locked door. He takes the key from his pocket. He puts it inside and opens, and there he sees his secretary, his wife. They look at each other, they remember each other, then they hug. Our whole life is moving the same way as he was moving in the world. We are happy. Yes, of course we are happy. When the relationships are there around us and catering to us right, left and center, we are very happy. When things go wrong, we cry. It is normal, sir. But there is this key, an all-important key. And we have to find out what this key is. Key to what? Key to a normal life. Not what the world perceives as normal. Normal from within. And what is normality? To find that tattva, essence. Because everybody wants that. Everybody wants to be happy. I earn money so that I can spend on the good things and be happy. I am interested in spiritual classes so that I learn something from it and be happy. I don't want to attend this class and I can do something else because I want to be happy. Whether I like it or not, I am dictated by this sole purpose of being happy. And being happy when? Only at this time? And then I can be sad afterwards? No. Continuously. Life after life, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam in Bhaja Govinda. Life after life, I should be. From this moment onwards, everything. So whenever I am sad, I want to be happy. Whenever I am happy, I don't want to be sad. I want to remain in the same state. I am prodded by this process to reach happiness. So what is the goal? The goal of every human life, every being in fact, is under all systems, under all situations, with everybody, all the people who are related to me, at all times, desha, kala, vastu, paristhiti, any object, under any circumstances. Today's this object, if I take, I'll be happy. I want some other object. My happiness should not be dependent on objects of the world. My happiness should not be dependent on the situations of the world. This disease has come, therefore I'll feel sad. That will come, therefore I'll be happy. No. It is not dependent on the situations. It is not dependent on the relationships of the world. Come what may, I am going to be eternally peaceful and happy. Make a promise. There was this old song, Geet Gata Hu Main, Gungunata Hu Main, Maine Hasne Ka Vada Kiya Tha Kabhi, Isliye Ab Sada Muskurata Hu Main. I had promised myself some time back, I am not going to sit and cry over small, flimsy matter. I don't have the time, I don't have the inclination to get into debates about what right and wrong is with people who have no idea. Just focusing on your work. Once upon a time, I promised I am never going to be sad. Therefore, I am never sad. In this beautiful movie called Patch Adams in English, somebody asked the hero, "You are never serious in life? You're always joking. Why are you never serious?" He gives the simple answer. He says, "I've tried being serious in my life. It just doesn't work for me." Such a person doesn't work. It's not there. So what is this essence? Under all situations, under all circumstances, with all, In the world with or yoga ratova, bhoga ratova, with the world, without anything in this world. Whether the world caters to me or not, whether relationships cater to me or not, whether time is there with me or not, it really doesn't matter. I am happy. Nandati, nandati, nandateva. I am happy, I am happy, I am happy. What an attitude. No dependency. When you start understanding Tattva, and that is the textbook what we are doing, Tattva-Bodhah, the essence, knowledge of that supreme essence. Now, Shankara has written 700 books. There are a lot of books. There are a lot of texts. Tattva-Bodhah is different from everybody. Guarantee. It is different. So many people have come into the class saying, wow, we would like to study a new text. What is this new text? It is alphabets. Do you know the English language? Yes, we know the English language, and we have been talking in English, you have been listening in English, everything is English or Hindi. I know the language. So now we are going to do the text of A for apple, B for boy, C for cat, and D for dog. Tattva-Bodhah is studying alphabets as far as Vedanta principles are concerned. Majority of people will say, oh my God, principles? We don't need to find out A, B, and C, and D. I know the alphabet. A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. I know that, sir. It's very easy. I know. Similarly, in Vedanta, we are accustomed in spiritual attitude of our life to pick up books from libraries right, left, and center. So you go to some houses, the books are there, all kinds of Bhagavad Gita, all kinds of Upanishads, all kinds of Bible. There are so many things everywhere, so many books. How many books can a person read? Has a person dived in any one book? So from here on, from today onwards, our studies is going to be a little different. Not much, little different. What? We are going to talk about the concepts of what we find in the other text. So many people, sir, we should love everybody. Love should permeate my heart. What is the meaning of love? Gaya, definition's gone. Don't be attached. So when I'm talking and taking care of my children and my husband and my own wife, my mother, my father, am I attached? Then what is the difference between attach and love? Most of us, if not all, have not understood the definitions of certain simple concepts. We don't know love definition. We don't know attachment. We don't know courage. We don't know how a student is qualified to reach the higher state of affairs. What are the three states of consciousness? We know it, waking, dream, but what are they? As defined in the Granthas. So when our definitions of these concepts with the great masters are using is aligned to the real definitions, then knowledge seeps in easily. So the first 6 months of our living in a particular ashram, all we had questions was only this. If somebody says the mind is agitated every time, I don't know how to deal with it. So we would always raise the thumb and say, can you define the mind? Can you define the intellect? Sir, when I'm talking to the world, many times people hurt me and my self-respect gets hurt, sir. So what do you do with that? What do you understand by self-respect? So in Tattva-Bodhah, we are going to focus more and more on definitions. It may certainly look like a waste of time. Believe me, when I read it first, I also thought, this all the students know. But when we get our grounds cleared and all of us understand what each concept, each idea means, the growth is tremendous. Get the definitions properly read in. So we'll start with the text. Tattva-Bodhah. We'll chant this. I told you there is no chanting, so this is just one chant, the first verse. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnana Pradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattva-Bodho Bhidhiyate. I salute you, O Vasudeva, the king of yogis, a guru who bestows knowledge for the benefit of mumukshu, seeker. This Tattva-Bodhah is given. Beautiful. So this Tattva-Bodhah, this knowledge is being taught to whom? Certain people. Qualifications. First of all, I salute you. Why salute you? O Vasudeva, Vasudevendra, the king of yogis, Yogindra, a person who is Vasudeva, Vasudevendra. Devendra means king. Vasudeva, Vasudeva means son of Vasudev and Devaki, naturally. The reference is Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna represents as the son of Devaki and Vasudev, the universal God. Whenever anybody mentions universal God, be intelligent enough, don't demarcate this God and that God. Told you often, don't demarcate and put it into compartments that Krishna is different from Rama, Rama is different from Shiva, Shiva is different from Guru Gobind Singh, Guru Gobind Singh is different from Allah, Allah is different from Muhammad, Muhammad is different from Jesus. Don't get into these bifurcations at all. All these great masters, through their own customs and traditions, have reached a particular state where they have created a vacuum within themselves. And a vacuum in me cannot be different from a vacuum in somebody else. The state remains the same. So when we are saying Vasudeva, we are talking about that supreme reality which is a common state everywhere. All the human beings function the same way. All the animals and plants function the same way. Everybody needs to reach at its optimum capacity. Everybody needs to reach in their original nature. A rubber band, when you pull it, it wants to come back to its original size. An ice cube, you keep it, it wants to come to its original state of water. Similarly, every being wants to reach its original nature. So any human being who's aiming to reach his original nature, Sat, Chit, Ananda, a person who's constantly truthful to himself and herself, a person who's intelligent enough to understand that whatever is happening around him or her is temporary by nature. It's unreal. A person who's understood thus is always happy in Ananda, a state of Ananda, because his happiness is no more dependent on anything outside in the world. It's constantly inside. To reach that state, swim against the tide of the world takes enormous strength. And I can't do this alone without the support of that supreme reality. There has to be help from everywhere. There should be a system which supports me to reach the higher. And that system is not in my control. It is there. Whenever I'm trying to reach something higher, support comes. There is a divinity that shapes my ends. All help comes from where I don't know, but it comes because I am aspiring to reach something higher. Therefore, I need your grace. I salute you. I salute you, O Vasudeva, O Krishna. You are the real king. You are the greatness. The king of yogis. So he was very good in Mayurasan, Sirsasan. It's not that. A yogi has come from the word yoga. Yoga means in Sanskrit it's come from the word yuj. Yuj in English means to unite. So every attempt made by one person to unite with his supreme self, every attempt that this Jiva Atma, I'll explain eventually what is Jiva Atma. This Jiva Atma, this Jiva trapped inside, the Atma trapped in this body, wants to reach the highest. Every attempt that person makes is considered to be yoga. Master of yoga is Krishna. Not only physical exercises. Yoga means any attempt. So you try to become the best you can be by joining a gym, walking, running, exercising, dancing, whatever you want to do to keep fit, do it. Why you want to become fit? Not to show in the world. It really doesn't matter. It is just that I have this one body, and sad to say, hardly any spare parts around. There are no spare parts. And even if I want a spare part, my God, the cost is so bad. One knee, which I've taken it for granted, one knee pops off and I have to pay probably 2-3 lakhs just to replace that knee. One kidney. So things are there in me sustaining this life. And I got only one, not more. Therefore, a spiritual person wants to elongate his or her life by staying fit so that he's got more time to reach the supreme reality. Physically, emotionally is the same, mind, intellectually is the same, ideas and ideologies, everything is, and he's the master of yoga. He is the greatest teacher of all, the greatest gurus. What do gurus do? They sometimes talk about their own state. You must have heard this. Either they talk or they show mannerisms that they have reached a completely higher state than normal people. They add adjectives, pronouns before their name. Some names to be given so that you can address them. Their dress materials, their dress codes, the way they act is entirely different to show to the world they have reached a great state. When they do that, people listen and say, wow, such a famous guru. He's from a big ashram, he's from this. They forget what made that person. That's a beautiful way. When you reach our state, you will know how you feel. You're so peaceful. You're so nice. These are all gimmicks in the outside world to attract attention. Krishna also teaches. Yes, Krishna teaches. But how he teaches? He teaches standing in one place. In one hand, he is having the cane. In one hand, he's got what we call the Jnana Mudra. And he's standing. That's the education. No dialogues, nothing. And what is the education? He says, listen, this is the cane. Krishna was a cowherd. So he used to take the cows to Govardhan Parvat whole day and bring it down. The cows used to go there and start munching on grass. When it is started munching on grass, after evening, then they'll come back and they are tied to the shed. And when they are tied to the shed, what do? They bring all the food what they have eaten back into their mouth and they start munching. That's a cow. Human beings also do that. Morning, as soon as we get up, we allow all our 5 sense organs of perceptions, eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin, into the world charati. It's grazing in the world. Morning to night. Evening, at least 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Then I come home from all my experiences of the day and then sitting on the sofa doing nothing. What happens? All the experiences come and mentally I start chewing them. You know what? This happened. You know what? That happened. You know what? This happened. This is the way you can spend your whole life. From morning to evening, from age to age, from childhood to old age. Whole life can go on this. Aisa ho gaya, this happened, that will happen. This happened, that will happen. Focus can be there. Whole life can be spent on this. Either the cane or the choice is Jnana Mudra. I have the 3 personalities: body, mind, intellect. Sharir, man, buddhi, body, mind, intellect. I have this finger also inside me which keeps on pointing to everybody and says, because of you this happened. I don't point out any other finger. Imagine I point out with the thumb saying, you did this. No, it's always you did this. Tere wajah se. You know what that person did. You know what he did. You know what she did. This is where he, she, they come, the world. Therefore, this finger is called the ego. The thumb is a part of the hand, yet it is apart from the hand. Thumb is a part of the hand, yet apart from the hand. Thumb represents the Supreme Self, Atman within me. Atman is a part of me and yet apart from me. This is my personality. This is where when you do pranams, you say my personality and your personality, the creator is one. I bow to that supreme reality. That's why we do pranams. This ego can whole life live externally, or like an intelligent person, this ego bends towards the Atman and merges itself. It becomes a circle. It becomes a circle. A circle has no beginning, no end. It doesn't go through anything. It has reached its infinite potential. So either, this is the way Krishna, the greatest of the Guru's teach, either you live driving the stick, driving your sense organs into actions, or you try to merge your ego, make it understand, stand apart from the body, mind, intellect and merge it to the Supreme Self. Identify with the original reality. And no dialogue. Krishna says the choice is yours. After 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, to Arjuna, he says, Yatha Ikshasi Tata Kuru. Not only that, he does Yatha Ikshasi Tata Kuru, do what you want to do. It's not only that do what you want to do. Otherwise, it will be a chaos everywhere. When you look at people and say, do what you want to do. It's not that. He says, after careful consideration of what I have explained to you, do what you want to do. After careful consideration of what has been explained in this class till now, do what you want to do. That's the idea. So, Indra, Vasudeva, I salute you. Without your grace, it's not possible. Oh Vasudeva, the king of yogis, a guru who bestows knowledge. I told you, Everywhere there are so many gurus. A guru who doesn't talk about the state. A guru who shows the path towards divinity. A guru who is not bothered what people think about him or her. A guru who is not bothered about reputations, how many people follow him or her. He or she, that particular person who is a guru, does not deviate from the truth. And since he is completely immersed in that supreme reality, the truth, the only thing he does is give knowledge. Or as people will say, eventually when you attend these classes, you have become Vedantin, na? You are giving too much Vedanta now. They'll start talking like that. Because now whatever you are talking, whatever you are feeling, whatever you are thinking is directly related, directly aligned to the principles of this great text. That person becomes a guru. Naturally, he or she doesn't want to become a guru. No teacher worth the name wants to become a teacher. Example, today is Teachers' Day. That's what I've been told. And the Teachers' Day, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, his birthday, greatest teacher of all time. And he said, let my birthday be remembered as Teachers' Day. They don't want to get remembered. Don't remember me as a personality. It doesn't matter. Person comes, person goes. Where is the importance? The importance is in ideas and ideologies. 12th century Shankara came and went. Jnaneshwar came and went in 16th century. Who are bothered about their personality, their life? Did some miracles? It's not matter. There's no matter there. Whether they did something or not in their life, how they lived, it's not important. What are the ideas and ideologies they lived with? And looking at their life, looking at what they have achieved, looking at that strength of mental capacity to withstand pressure. Do I have that kind of strength? And if I don't, can I cultivate it? The greatest of gurus, for the benefit of mumukshu, a seeker. Why seeker in singular here we have put is because is a very rare breed. People are involved in textbooks. They are involved with teachers. They are academicians. They are involved in gurus, ashrams, big names. They are involved everywhere. Rarely one student. In the WhatsApp group, you see, so many people put every kind of advertisement. We can't focus. We don't have the inclination or the methodology to focus what should be put in the group and not. It's not there. Therefore, we have kept it open. Don't comment, no comments. What to do? So many people talk, they advertise, oh, can't do anything. This is the world. World is in its madness doing what it can, but I can remain focused. There are some people who say, don't put this group is for this. So beautiful. I'm so highly appreciative. See, they are trying to confine it. This is not for this. We'll create a different platform for advertising if you want. You can advertise all you want. But this group is for this. It's so beautiful when students come and say this, please don't deviate. Not in anger, not in arrogance, not to put the other person down. Just an information. Just an information. Such a person is a seeker, constantly thinking about how I can better my life each and every moment. Like when I'm drinking a sugarcane juice. The sugarcane juice, he takes the cane and he puts it inside that machine. I used to go for a run, so there's one particular place I used to have this sugarcane juice. One Muslim man, very, very sweet man. And he says, Saab, sugarcane juice, every Sunday I used to be there. He says, haan, bana do beta. So he would put that sugarcane juice, then he will remove from the other side, then he'll fold it, put it again, then he'll remove from the other side, fold it again, put it inside. Then he will not throw it away. He will ask me, Sir, nimbu chalega? I said, ha, chalega. Then he'll put a little bit of lemon, little bit of adrak, and then he'll squeeze it and put it again. He will use that cane until each and every drop is removed from that cane. What a beautiful lesson. Can I use each and every breath of my life like that Raswala? Use it to the best of my ability, so that at the end of the day, I just put my hand like this and say, I have lived. I have not existed. I am not sitting and crying over things that happened. I have lived. That kind of an attitude. So he's talking, and that is the mumukshu. Mumukshu is every action, every breath, every thought, every aspect of my life is dedicated to the pursuit of the higher. That person is a mumukshatu. For such a person who has that quality, to fight it out, reach it out, not give up in life, this Tattva-Bodhah, this knowledge of Tattva is given to them. We'll continue next time. Thank you. Hari Om.